Governor Mitt Romney turned a magnifying glass on his own party. When he was on the campaign trail in Ohio yesterday, the presidential nominee called out Republicans for failing to balance the federal budget, and he vowed that under his administration, if he gets there, things would be different.
We're going to finally have to do something that Republicans have spoken about for a long time, and for a while, we didn't do it. When we had the lead, we let people down. We need to make sure we don't lead them down this time. I will cut the deficit and get us on track to a balanced budget.
Great panel to discuss this. I'm joined now by Dick Harpootlian, the Democratic Party chair for South Carolina, which is just across the border from us here. And Ford O'Connell is the chairman of Civic Forum PAC and former outreach director for John McCain for president. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Ford, let me start with you. Mistake or an asset for Mitt Romney to criticize his own party when it comes to the big deficit that President Obama had when he came into office?
Smart play by Romney. He's continuing a narrative he started in Tampa. He's trying to say, I'm the adult in the race. I want to get things done, and I'm willing to call strikes on my own party. I'm not interested in gridlock. What he's really doing here is he's targeting undecided voters in an effort in the battleground states to make them more comfortable with him. That's really what's going on here, and I think it's a smart move. Only time's going to tell how it's going to play out, though.
Dick, what do you think about it?
Well, I think he's had an opportunity to explain what his plan is. Apparently it's in a lockbox in Switzerland or Caymans with his money. We don't know. He keeps talking about, well, the Republicans, I mean, he just 60 days out, he's begun to criticize Republicans. Is he for the $1 in tax increase on the wealthiest, for $9 in cuts, as President Obama has proposed, and the Republicans in the House won't pass? We don't know. He's very obscure. You know, his speech the other night, he could have laid all this out, but he didn't do it. We had, the ramblings of Clint Eastwood, and I'm not sure Mitt Romney was much more coherent.
Well, Ford, I mean, when you take a look at it, there's a lot of Republicans who were very unhappy with the way that President Bush's administration ran up the debt in the country. So there is a group of conservatives. There's a group of conservatives who, have felt that needed to be the focus all along. Does it make Mitt Romney look like, the chief executive of the country if he attains that role, if he takes a hard line on it?
I think it does. I think it makes him look much more statesmanlike. And I think that a lot of people, are a little weary about voting for Mitt Romney because President Obama and Dick over there is going to try to say you're going to take us backwards to the failed policies of the past. Mitt Romney's really talking about the future and saying, this is the Republican Party about me. We're going to be principled, but we're going to be practical, and we're going to target the deficit. We're going to try to balance the budget. And really, we're dealing with a president who has not passed the budget in 3 years. It's time to change. But Mitt Romney's smart because he knows he has to take a respectful tone to these folks, because many of the undecided voters who voted for Obama in 2008 really need to be coaxed into voting for Mitt Romney and not really, criticize him, but by sticking to the facts.
Well, let me ask Dick this. I don't know if you saw this Wall Street Journal piece that Britt Hume and Chris Wallace and I were speaking about earlier, but it talked about some of the issues that the Obama administration feels that it had the first time around. And one of those was sort of the inability to kind of be politic with Capitol Hill, to reach out to people, to have meetings. It said, initially he started having, Republicans over to the White House once every couple of weeks, and then he abandoned that because it felt it wasn't getting him anywhere, according to this article. Mitt Romney is trying to project an image of someone who would reach across the aisle and sees faults with both sides in order to kind of pull that together a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think that's, that's just more window dressing. If he wants to convince somebody, for instance, if Simpson Bowles is the plan, his vice president voted against it, was on the commission, voted against it, wouldn't let it out of committee, didn't propose it, wouldn't support it.
He says that's because it would have raised tax. He says he was against the raising taxes part of Simpson Bowles, and that's why he
voted. Dick's dodging the question.
Hold on, let Dick answer the question.
No,
go ahead.
No, I'm not dodging the question. What I'm saying is no economist says that we can balance the budget without some tax or revenue enhancement. Mitt Romney won't tell us what that is. He won't put out specifics.
Actually, he
President
has, though,
Obama
Dick.
has.
You know, actually, no, but let me just put this in, because this is something I feel doesn't get talked about enough. You know, when you eliminate corporate loopholes and you eliminate some individual loopholes as well, you are raising taxes.
Which ones?
But you're doing it through a different way.
Which ones?
I know which ones is the question. So Ford, does he need to get more specific about which loopholes he's going to eliminate?
He does need to get more specific about.
He
does need to get more specific about his plans. But the reason why he was a little more vague, if we will, during the convention is because going into Charlotte, if he had been specific, Dick and Obama would have actually wrapped him over the head for it. It is important for Mitt Romney to get more specific in terms of sort of getting those undecided voters over who voted for Obama in 2008 to really be comfortable and trust Mitt Romney going forward. Mitt Romney's saying, hey, this is a new day. I don't want gridlock. I have to work across the aisle or else we won't get things done. And President Obama has shown a willingness over and over not to work across the aisle. And if the Republicans really want to make waves in 2012, they're going to have to acknowledge the fact that they have to work
President Obama has said that one of the things he would do in a second administration would be to try to do that a little bit more. So that does acknowledge that he feels that that was one of the issues the first time around. Thanks, gentlemen. We'll look forward to speaking with you throughout the course of the week.
Thank you, Martha.
Dick, many thanks.